Hi everyone, welcome to a little bit of tutorials about using Westlaw. By no means are the next video or two going to be everything that you need to know about finding cases on Westlaw, but they should be kind of helpful. And really, I encourage you to just practice on your own by clicking around and seeing what's here and what's helpful to you, but also following some of the examples that we do in class. So here we are again at our Westlaw homepage. And right now we're really focused just on using Westlaw as a tool to help us find cases. So some of the most important principles to keep in mind is thinking about the two guiding principles before we do any case law research, whether we're using books or the computer. And that is to, number one, generate your search terms. What are those topics? And number two, what is my jurisdiction? If you're already starting with a case, then that's different. And we'll talk about that also. But I really want you to have almost like sticky notes next to your computer. What is my goal of my research? And what is my jurisdiction? And that's really going to help you focus and narrow your research. All right, well, welcome to Westlaw. Here we are on our Westlaw homepage. As I mentioned in class, we're going to spend most of our time from this homepage on this first column of dealing with cases, topics and key numbers, and then later this semester, we will do statutes, regulations, not administrative decisions, but also secondary sources. As you can see by looking through this list here, there is a wealth of other information available on Westlaw. You are free to check out all of those databases that we have access to, but just remember in this class, we're really going to stay focused on how to efficiently find cases and then statutes and secondary sources that are helpful to your real life clients, hypothetical clients in our class. And so while there's a lot to click around on and see, I do want you to stay focused on what we're learning in class. The next thing I wanted to show you is how Westlaw always maintains this search bar on top that looks like Google. So this is on every single page that we go to, but there will be some pages that there are more than one search bar. So the search bar here on the first page, but later we'll see where sometimes there's a second search bar, and you just want to make sure where you're clicking. One of the things I don't think I mentioned in class that I want to say on the video is I want you to intentionally slow down our researching and really think before we click. Part of the problem of being online all the time is that we sometimes skim, click, and skim, click. That's not wrong, but we may have a tendency in legal research to sometimes click too fast or not even read what we're finding and just assuming it's helpful or not helpful. I really want us to slow down the research process and think with intentionality. Why am I clicking here? Does this take me where I need to go? Is it making me move toward my research goal, and why? And then if you find yourself in the wrong spot, you can always backtrack. And that's the problem too, this Google button. So in this regular space here, we can search easily for any type of case. All you have to do is type in a citation, 61 Mass Ave Court, 299, and you will see that Costa versus Red Sox will come up. I encourage you to try this with a number of other cases. Just kind of look up cases just by citation. If you have the citation to the Northeastern Reporter, that one would also work. And it's also kind of cool. It doesn't care if you get the spacing right, or if you, let's see, 1090, it will take you to the same space, even if I lowercase the E in NE2D. It also, so let's say you don't have the right page. Let's say you type 1089 and you forgot that really Costa started on page 1090 and you type in 1089, it will take you exactly to that page. So it'll take you to the wrong case and then you can start all over again. Okay. The other piece on top is this choice of jurisdiction that I pointed out. Practice clicking on jurisdiction and up will pop your boxes of jurisdictions that you can click on. I also reference you to check out your history page. I love looking at history. You can see here, I didn't click on this in class, but it lists for you all the cases that you recently viewed, and you can click view all. You can also look up all your recent searches. It will literally tell you what your search terms were and where you conducted that search. That's pretty cool if you forget something that you've done. One last piece on this opening page is I directed you to favorites. Because there is so much here, I really like the favorites button. And actually, if I scroll down, my favorites are right here on my main page. They're just on my right-hand side after the advertisement. I love, these are just ones that I've added. So these are the list of, places that I find that I go to most frequently and that I felt like should have been part of my favorites. So you can add as we go or delete them. All right, so we now know how to find cases by citation. Remember, that's the easy one. The hard one is finding cases by subject matter. So we talked about 2 ways to find cases by subject matter. The first one is the one that I would encourage you to get practice using, and that is using the digest and the topic and key numbers. Remember that Westlaw publishes cases in books called reporters. And reporters are organized by jurisdiction or groups of jurisdiction, like the Northeast Reporter 2nd Series, 3rd Series, or it is organized by, and then organized chronologically within each reporter. So it's really just a repository of where all the cases are published in that chronological order, which is why if you have a citation, it's really easy to find the case. But if you don't have a citation and you need to do subject matter research, it's far more challenging because the chances of you opening up the reporter or typing in a random citation and getting the case that you want by topic is like a needle in a haystack. So that is why West Publishing created another set of books that go with the reporter. So remember, the reporter publishes the cases. The digest catalog the cases by topic, and they organize them by broad topics that have all the subtopics underneath them, and we call those key numbers. So what I'm going to do is go over this as I did in class and click on topics and key numbers here, and this will bring us to the page that Westlaw provides with all of the broad topics. So let me do that now. And here we are in the West key number system. Again, I don't want you to memorize all of these different topics. Just recognize that these are the names that the editors have chosen as a broad stroke of topics. So the problem for us as researchers, to use the example that we did in class, is that to search for cases related to pregnancy discrimination in employment, we don't know exactly what terms the West publishers used. So that brings us back to that very first topic, which was our first step, which is generate our search terms. I'm looking for cases related to pregnancy, discrimination in the workplace. Or what about I'm looking for cases involving spectators or individuals injured at sporting events that are either baseball or another professional sport. These are all topics of keywords that we would come up with. And from there, we can now use this subject matter guide called a digest to find the cases by subject matter. So if you look at the topics here, they're broad topics, and each one underneath it has as you open it, I should say, has a table of contents. For example, I'll just go down to, where's assault and battery? So let's say I need to find cases about assault and battery. So I open up assault and battery. Now, it's number 37. That means that's its volume number. That number does not mean anything to you. I want you to focus on the topic. You're here for cases related to assault and battery. But even something like assault and battery is a massive topic. So you can see that each little key is a subtopic. In general, what law governs. Here are all the key numbers that relate to cases involving criminal offenses, criminal prosecutions, and then a whole section on civil liability for assault and battery as well. So let's say I'm looking at cases involving assault and battery on, I don't know, like in general. I just need to learn more about it. Every time you see a little plus, that opens up your table of contents or where you are even more. So you can expand it. And here are my key numbers. So this is called assault and battery 111, assault and battery 112, assault and battery 113, and so on and so forth. So let's say I want to find cases about battery in general. I just need to learn more about that. I can click on battery in general, and now, because I'm in my jurisdiction of Massachusetts, and again, feel free to pause this and rewind it. I now am brought to the 12 cases in my jurisdiction that have a head note in them that have the topic of battery, just something about battery generally in the criminal context. And I use the key number system to get there. These here are the list of cases. Commonwealth versus Leonard, Commonwealth versus Moniz, Commonwealth versus Kelly. You can see that you get the name of the court that issued the decision, the date, and its citation. And then it says head note. This is really cool, and this is the part that I don't think I explained as well in class. When you are here, you're in the digest. What we're looking at is just a list of cases in my jurisdiction on this particular topic, which is battery in general. I get the name of the case, the citation to the case. So obviously I would want to click on this case and then go read the whole thing. But here, this language here, conviction of assault under a theory of threatened battery, this paragraph here, this language, which is under battery 113, is literally a head note in the case of Commonwealth versus Moniz. What is in the head note is what is in the digest. That is how the research is linked together. So let's click on the case just so I can show you that point. You go to Commonwealth versus Moniz, and it actually takes you literally right to these head notes, right to the head notes in the case. And I'll just scroll up for a second and show you the different view so that you can see the numbering system. Assault and battery 113, here we are, assault and battery 113. So I know that seems like a big leap to kind of figure out how that happens, but what happens is the case comes out. The editors of West read the case, and the editors say, oh, this case involves battery in general. And they write the head note, and they give it the number, assault and battery 113, and then they take that head note and they put it into the digest under assault and battery 113. So that sometime later, you may not know about this case, but you know you want cases involving assault and battery, you go right to that head note. And the beauty of the head note system is that it's giving you cases that are in the Northeastern Reporter. So you know what that means. That means these are cases from the Massachusetts Appeals Court and the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court. That's what you should be finding here. It automatically weeds out and takes out all of those lower court opinions. So feel free to pause this and go back. What I wanted to do in my last minute before this recording number 1 is done is go back to the key number system and show you how this would work if you really have no idea, but you know you need to research assault and battery. And let's say it involves a civil case, but you're not exactly sure much about it. You can actually just skim the table of contents. Like go to civil liability, open civil liability in general, and just start reading the little case summaries that are listed here. That will help educate you if you're in the right area, if you're finding something useful. Ultimately, you'll want to look at the cases themselves, but you may not know exactly what you're looking for yet. So just be careful when you come. I mean, not be careful, but I wanted you to see that this tool of a table of contents is actually really useful. In my last 10 seconds before I end this video, just remember that from this West key number system, you can very easily change your jurisdiction. I'm in Massachusetts. Remember we talked about the second search bar down here, not up here, down here. I can type my words in.